This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, the budget reveals millions more for the Southern District Health Board, but will it be enough? A health report from the UK says yes to a high-fat diet, while a local professor says no. And shoppers will be in for some surprise displays thanks to an end-of-semester requirement. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. Funding for the cash-strapped Southern District Health Board will increase by millions of dollars to a record amount in the next financial year. The government is investing $16 billion in health as part of its newly announced 8th annual budget. But the opposition isn't happy with planned spending.
Applauding the plan, the National-led government has just released its fiscal spending for the 2016 to 17 year. It's confident the budget will benefit the country as Crown accounts are seeing surplus gains and decreased debt.
As a country, we are more confident and our economy is growing. Businesses are creating thousands of new jobs, incomes are rising, we are getting to grips with our toughest social problems, and the books are back in the black.
English has announced an extra $568 million will be put towards healthcare nationally, pushing the total for the year above $16 billion. The Southern DHB will receive an extra $32 million, taking its funding to a record $884 million for the year. The extra funds will go towards investment in services, improving access to healthcare and meeting costs as the population grows.
The reality is, even with the extra money, it still does not keep up. And it gets worse, because in the subsequent years, after the financial year that this budget covers, the money goes down. It's as if the New Zealand population is going to shrink. Suddenly all the elderly who are going to be retiring, there's going to somehow be fewer of them.
The budget outlines investment in a number of sectors as well as the repayment of debt. The government's making priorities out of science and innovation, national infrastructure, health and education. But Labour's criticising the housing spend as well as how the government's helping the average Kiwi.
And what we've had served up to us today is no answer to the real problems being faced all across the land by all New Zealanders. 8 years they've had to help Kiwis get ahead. 8 years to help Middle New Zealand. And once again, in this budget, Bill English's 8th, they have failed.
The government's also investing more money in the justice sector and Māori and Pacific communities and offering small businesses a tax package. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Port Otago is making way for bigger vessels at Port Chalmers before the domestic cruise ship season kicks off in October. The coming 6-month season is expected to be the biggest Dunedin's seen yet. New infrastructure for mega-class ships is being put in place now to accommodate large vessels due to berth in the harbour. One of the biggest cruise ships has just announced extra visits to Dunedin for the next 2 seasons. In total, 96 liners are scheduled for mostly day-long stays at Port Chalmers between October and April. That's more than the city's ever had. Port Otago says it's spending less than $200,000 on the upgrade work, which is due to be finished by late November. A local professor is blasting a recently released health report stating high-fat diets will combat obesity. The UK-based document claims fat consumption can promote weight loss and fight against diabetes, but the local expert is urging residents not to be fooled.
Combing through the fine print, this top local academic is going over a report into the benefits of high-fat diets, which was released by the UK-based National Obesity Foundation. The University of Otago professor is slamming it for what he says is inaccurate and misleading information.
The report is not actually a research report. It is a commentary by a group of self-selected individuals who have formed this organisation to express a view on some highly selected pieces of research from the scientific literature.
The report has been making headlines around the world and states that by eating fat and cutting carbs, people can curb obesity and diabetes. Professor Mann says the authors haven't done direct research but have cherry-picked particular points from other work without backing it up.
They quoted selected literature. So they took some studies which said there was no association between saturated fat and heart disease. So that is true if you look superficially at the literature.
He says although there are some sensible points within the research, people should ignore this report and follow standard nutrition guides. He says people should avoid unhealthy fatty foods and increase their intake of fruit, vegetables and whole grains. Professor Mann is urging people to not follow fad diets and instead eat sensibly.
There really is no particular benefit of a high-fat diet over a high-carbohydrate diet, a high-protein diet, or any other kind of diet. Basically, what determines whether you lose weight in the long term is whether you reduce your total calories.
Professor Mann's the director of the Diabetes and Obesity Research Centre and is involved at a high level with the World Health Organisation. He's one of several top academics from around the world scrutinising the pro-fat report. Annabelle Dick, 39, Dunedin News.
The Dunedin man accused of murdering his neighbour in Seacliff earlier this year has pleaded not guilty to the charge. The incident happened at the small coastal community on the 7th of March when 54-year-old resident Sharon Comerfield died in her home. Police arrested and charged 59-year-old Stephen Findlay with her murder. He was seriously injured during events related to the incident and spent weeks in Dunedin Hospital. He's now being remanded at the Otago Corrections Facility. Findlay is represented by top Dunedin lawyer Judith Ablett-Kerr QC and is next due to appear in court at the end of June. Dance students at the University of Otago are preparing for their end-of-semester public performances. They're planning on surprising residents with live displays in the city's main shopping area. And they're covering new ground and partnering with a local retail initiative.
Performing new works in public. These University of Otago dance students are spreading their wings, moving away from campus studios to the heart of Dunedin's main shopping area.
It's quite a new experience for the students. It's a little bit frightening to be rehearsing amongst the passers-by and to be watched as they create the work, but that's all part and parcel of the project.
Each year, the university's second-year dance students create site-specific work for the end of their first semester.
We've chosen many venues around town. Part of the concept is a way of bringing dance away from the theatre, away from the university and out into the public arena to share with the community.
This year the Dance Studies program is partnering with the Urban Dream Brokerage Dunedin project. That's all about getting creative locals temporarily using empty retail spaces in the city to add vibrancy. Wall Street Mall management are also on board, allowing the facility to be transformed into a stage.
The research has been about the hegemonic use of the space, the architectural shapes and forms, the possibilities of each space, and also some of the socio-political insinuations or associations with the place.
There are 8 dancers involved, each choreographing their own work in different sites throughout the mall. Their small 5-minute public displays are themed around research they've undertaken at the university. They've been rehearsing this week for a final showing between 5 and 6 p.m. on Friday. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, a 2,500-year-old man's identity becomes clearer thanks to a breakthrough by a locally led research team. And the Polytechnic explains the loss of 9 jobs.
Hi, this time of year we like to keep our customers warm and comfortable, and we sell a lot of moleskins and we've got them all on special. Check out these, Tussock Creep, 2 weights and they're a great price. We also sell Lee stretch moleskins, 5 different colours, short and regular. Great buy, moleskins, Alex Campbell Menswear, 3 stores.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come
One, come all to the Lana Castle Winter Ball. Traditional dancing, dining and fun to be had. Dress up in your Victorian costume and experience the glamour of yesteryear and witness the address of the haggis. Friday 22nd of July, get in fast as tickets are limited. Call 4761616 or go online to www.lanarkcastle.co.nz.
We're a 25 Moray Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focused on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
New Zealand Beeswax Limited are the quintessential beeswax, woodware and beekeeping suppliers. From the amateur beekeeper to the commercial operator, New Zealand Beeswax Limited has the quantity to meet your needs. For great prices, great service New Zealand-wide, contact New Zealand Beeswax Limited on 03 693 9189 or visit www.beeswax.co.nz.
It's on again. The Star Regent 24-hour book sale starts noon 10th of June. Don't miss out!
Oamaru's Fire and Steam is a unique family event coinciding with the Steampunk New Zealand Festival. Fire and Steam is being held Friday the 3rd of June from 6:30pm till 9pm. The festival is to celebrate fire, steam, sound, light and music. Harbour Street will come alive. An annual event not to be missed.
It's Junk-Free June.
I'm giving up chocolate.
Go to junkfreejune.org.nz today and get started.
For professional, reliable and approachable service where your dream kitchen design can become an affordable reality, contact the team at Kitchens for Less. Call 455 9973 or visit us online.
Dog with Two Tails Cafe and Bar on Moray Place. Proud supporters of New Zealand Music Month, May 2016.
Welcome back. Dairy farmers struggling with the industry's global downturn are getting a restrained payout forecast from Fonterra. The company just announced its predicted farmgate milk price for the next season of $4.25 per kilogram of milk solids. That's an increase of 35 cents on the current season's payout. But the Shareholders Council chairman says the announcement will be tough for farmers to hear. He says it reflects the reality of the market, and Fonterra is also citing industry limitations for the figure. The company is expecting global dairy pricing to gradually improve over the coming season, but warns farmers to be prudent. And on that note, let's take a look at today's markets. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 40 points. It's now at 6,948. The Dow Jones is up 146 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is down against all the currencies that we follow. An Otago-led research team has made a breakthrough in genome sequencing, revealing data about a young man entombed 2,500 years ago. The group was co-led by Professor Lisa Matiso-Smith of the University of Otago's Anatomy Department. She joins us now to talk about it. Good evening.
Good evening.
How is this study unique?
Well, this is the first ancient DNA study of any Phoenician remains. So this was an incredibly important culture in the Mediterranean region and possibly beyond. And so this is our first opportunity to look at the DNA of the Phoenicians themselves.
Why did you pick this man?
We picked this man, one, because the samples were available. I'd been working with my colleagues in Lebanon, who are based there, on general population history of the region, and they knew that I worked on ancient DNA, so we started talking about an ancient DNA project, and we had the opportunity of sampling the remains of this man who was being brought from Tunisia to Lebanon, to the homeland of the Phoenicians, and my colleague was able to obtain a bit of bone sample for us to study.
What were your findings?
Well, we were really quite surprised. Given the history, the sample was discovered in Carthage, and that city was supposedly founded from Lebanon, some refugees coming from Lebanon. And so we expected to either find a North African, Tunisian maternal lineage, we're looking just strictly at the maternal lineage at this point, or a Near Eastern lineage, and what we found was actually a European lineage, and this is indeed the first, the earliest evidence of a European maternal or mitochondrial DNA lineage in North Africa.
Why is that significant?
Well, it tells us something, not only about the history of Phoenicians, but it helps us really understand and try to reconstruct the movement of people around that part of the world generally. So we're finding kind of more and more evidence of population mobility early on, and population replacements. So this is where ancient DNA really helps us understand the patterns that we see today, and perhaps how they came to be the way that they are.
Where was this man's tomb discovered?
Interestingly, it was the gardener at the Carthage National Museum who was extending his garden plots, and he found a shaft which led to a tomb, and the remains were found in a sarcophagus in the tomb, and so they identified the remains as belonging to a young man. This was in 1994, and as I say, in 2014, the kind of exhibit was taken back to Lebanon to display there, and including some of his remains, which we were able to sample.
Do we have any idea what his age was? When you say he was a young
dated,
man?
he was a young man between the ages of 19 and 24.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
And we don't have any idea of knowing what caused his death?
There's no evidence in the skeletal remains that tell us about the cause of his death. He appeared to be relatively healthy and was buried with a range of burial goods, so he was clearly somebody who was a person of substance and recognized by the community.
Are you carrying on with the study?
We are. We're continuing to work with colleagues, both in Lebanon and around Italy and Spain, other locations where we have Phoenician settlements. So we're working away with more samples right now, and hopefully we'll not only undertake further studies of this sample, but many other Phoenician remains, so we can really try to understand the extent and the impact of the Phoenician trade and exchange and not so much empire, but influence.
That's fascinating stuff. Professor Lisa Matiso-Smith from the University of Otago's Anatomy Department, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, Otago Polytechnic sheds 9 positions, and we find out what's happening with erosion at Ocean Beach.
Sir Bob Charles, New Zealand's greatest golfer and still going strong.
I'm sure that Sportsville was a contributing factor to my success, and I'll continue to use it.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville, a product so good he puts his name to it.
Well, I believe Sportsville helps maintain your quality of life.
Now being used by active men and women globally to support strength and mobility.
It works for me.
Sir Bob Charles Sportsville in the new all-black pack. Call now for the Sportsville special, 0800 502 402.
Dog with Two Tails Cafe and Bar on Moray Place. Proud supporters of New Zealand Music Month, May 2016.
Oamaru's Fire and Steam is a unique family event coinciding with the Steampunk New Zealand Festival. Fire and Steam is being held Friday the 3rd of June from 6:30pm till 9pm. The festival is to celebrate fire, steam, sound, light and music. Harbour Street will come alive. An annual event not to be missed.
Hi, this time of year we like to keep our customers warm and comfortable, and we sell a lot of moleskins, and we've got them all on special. Check out these, tussock creep, 2 weights, and they're a great price. We also sell Lee stretch moleskins, 5 different colours, short and regular. Great buy, moleskins, Alex Campbell Menswear, 3 stores.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Finding that your grass seed just won't grow? Ready Lawn has the perfect solution for all those lawn woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 486 1819.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders, and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
It's Junk-Free June.
I'm giving up chocolate.
Go to junkfreetune.org.nz today and get started.
Come one, come all to the Lanark Castle Winter Ball. Traditional dancing, dining and fun to be had. Dress up in your Victorian costume and experience the glamour of yesteryear and witness the address of the haggis. Friday 22nd of July, get in fast as tickets are limited. Call 4761616 or go online to www.lanarkcastle.co.nz.
We're at 25 Moray Place at Dog with Tails Cafe and Bar. So we take coffee very seriously. We do what's called contract roasting, so we're creating our own roasting profile and then doing our own blends. We're really focused on the craft of what we're doing. You know, we're going back, instead of going on mass-produced sort of cheap things, we're taking the time to really craft what we're making. Make it so anyone can come here and have a feed and be able to get something they're able to eat or that they want to eat as well. You're kind of getting a taste of cafes from all around the world when you come here.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
Welcome back. Police are looking for the driver of a vehicle involved in a collision with another car at the intersection of Gordon Road and Eyre Street in Mosgiel. The crash happened yesterday morning at about 8 a.m. Police say the person driving a white Subaru station wagon left the scene without stopping to ascertain if anyone was injured. The car was last seen heading south towards the railway line on Gordon Road. The other vehicle involved was a black Holden Colorado. Police are also wanting to speak with any witnesses. Otago Polytechnic has downsized its architecture, building and engineering staff despite a nationwide need for more tradespeople. 9 workers were made redundant from the Polytechnic School of Architecture, Building and Engineering late last year. At the time, the institution cited a decline in the numbers of students wanting that kind of training. But figures show the department has grown by just over 60 full-time student equivalents compared to last year. The Tertiary Education Union says the Polytechnic should be gearing up to supply trained students for an expected boom in construction. Already there is growing need for tradespeople in Christchurch and Auckland. Updated satellite images are revealing the extent of sand dune erosion at Ocean Beach. Otago Daily Times reporter Timothy Brown has been looking into the issue and speaking with geology experts, and he joins us to talk about it. Good evening.
Good evening.
Tell us about the images and what they show.
Well, there's 2 images. One is from earlier this year from a Google satellite, and one is from early 2013. They reveal the extent to which the sand dunes have eroded over the past few years, particularly as a result of last June's storm. It's to the point now where the sand has actually been drawn out of the track down to the beach.
What are local geology experts saying?
Well, I've spoken to Dr. Wayne Stevenson from the University of Otago, and he believes that although the image looks dramatic, that actually it's just part of the natural erosion and accretion, the building up of the beach down there. He expects that with time it could actually heal itself.
How much time are we talking about?
That's the great unknown. Sand was building up earlier this year from about February. That only took the storm at the weekend to erode back into the sea. But it could be years, it could be decades.
So what is the council doing at the moment?
At the moment they're installing about 200 metres of sand sausages down there to shore it up for the coming winter. That work was originally intended to be carried out before winter got into its depths, but unfortunately it's now been delayed by a month and won't be until July. They're hoping that will be able to hold the dunes until a long-term solution is found.
Yes. Are they talking about long-term solutions yet, or are they just thinking about it?
It's in discussion, but there is no long-term solution yet. What has happened is, in this year's coming annual plan, they have set aside $100,000 to investigate where to from now. They're hoping to go away, do some research and come back with some long-term answers.
Otago Daily Times reporter Timothy Brown, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. The government's spending a record amount of money on the Southern DHB as part of its 8th annual budget, announced in Parliament this afternoon. The city's top professor on obesity and diabetes is warning residents not to be fooled by a UK-based report advocating high-fat diets. And University of Otago dance students are preparing to perform contemporary works in public shopping spaces through a new collaboration. It's time now to find out what's going to be in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times, and Barry Stewart's with me. Hello.
Hello, Rebecca. Well, the budget. It's all talk about the budget, isn't it? I've had thousands of emails outlining the ins and outs of it. So we'll have condensed that for you, and we'll have a concise package tomorrow. ODT business editor and political editor Dean McKenzie heads our team's coverage of that. And of course, as I say, we'll have a speed read for those that don't need the full story. Millers Flat community is up in arms about the loss of a shop. It's a nice little local dispute, and inside out we head off to the Chelsea Flower Show.
Oh, nice.
Change of pace. Sports lift out tomorrow and lots of other stuff.
Thanks, Barry. That's tomorrow's ODT.
Thank you.
Time now for local weather.
This 39 Dunedin News weather update proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Emu Oil.
Here is our city view, and it's taken of the ocean from Saddle Hill. Around the city at 3 o'clock today, 10 degrees for both the central city and the gardens, 12 for the Taieri. Quite nippy. Well, to the situation, and it's not too flash, I'm afraid. A depression will develop in the eastern Tasman tomorrow. It's going to move across central New Zealand on Tuesday, bringing unsettled weather. Cold sou'westers will return on Sunday. So to the forecast for the main towns on the lower South Island for tomorrow, it's one word and it's fine for all of these places, with highs of around 10 or 11 degrees. And it's also fine for Queenstown, Oamaru, Wanaka and Twizel on 11 and 12 degrees. In Dunedin tonight, showers, but they will clear. Tonight's low 4 degrees. Tomorrow becoming fine and sunny with light winds. Frost's possible at night, and if you organise a good day for your washing, a high of 12. And on Saturday, cloud increasing with scattered rain developing, easterly winds 11 degrees. To the Otago Pallet Fires tidal and fishing information, high tide tomorrow morning is at 7:30, and fishing conditions look good tomorrow, especially around 5 p.m. That's the news. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand.